Hey vlog! Today we're going to be exploring the chemistry of going from cacao to cocoa. Yay!
Today we're making an 81% dark chocolate recipe, starting with 220 grams of cacao butter. Chocolate itself is a complex emulsion made from micelles, which are lipid molecules that arrange themselves in spherical forms in aqueous solutions. The formation of a micelle is a response to the amphithetic nature of fatty acids, meaning that food contains both hydrophilic regions as well as hydrophobic regions. Now enjoy the ASMR of our chocolate blend.
Esters are compounds present in unfermented and roasted beans, but can also result from the fermentation process, aka yeast metabolism. One of the compounds formed during fermentation is ethyl acetate, which is a product of esterification from ethanol and acetic acid. Here we have listed other esters present during production. The aerobic phase of fermentation is the most important for synthesis of esters from alcohols. Esters are one of the most important volatile compounds because they are associated with fruity flavors. However, in chocolate, they have a secondary role in aroma development after aldehydes and pyrazines.
So for our recipe, we have 4 ingredients. We have cacao butter, which is an oil, and to break down the chemistry behind this, it's nonpolar, which means it has no dipole moment and no partial charge. The cocoa solids, we're using cocoa butter, are a mixture of both slightly polar and nonpolar compounds. And sucrose, in this case we're using maple syrup instead of sugar, is extremely polar, which means it has a huge dipole moment. And we're also adding salt to balance off the sugary sweetness. Cacao beans go through a rigorous refining process before they become the chocolate that we know and love. This includes a fermentation process prior to the beans being roasted. Predominantly acetic and lactic acid are formed in the process. Acids are fermentation products which are produced mainly from sugars. They reduce the pH to approximately 4.5 to 5.5, enabling enzymatic reactions necessary in this step of cocoa bean processing.
Every now and then we're going to be mixing our cacao butter so that it doesn't burn throughout the melting process.
Roasting of cacao beans leads to caramelization of the present sugars. Caramelization occurs during heating of carbohydrates, especially pentose and reducing sugars, where high temperature causes dehydration of sugars. During caramelization, molecular degradation of sugars leads to the development of aroma compounds such as furfural seen in this reaction. Also, during roasting, dehydration of sugars can occur which produces furfural and its derivatives.
Subsequent fermentation, drying, and roasting of the beans significantly reduce the content of volatile acids, which is one of prerequisites for development of the pleasant aroma of the final products. If cocoa beans are dried too quickly, volatile acids are trapped within the bean, which is not desirable. High acid content leads to off flavors, cocoa and chocolate. Low content can be connected to a loss of proper flavor of chocolate. Normally, milk chocolate has lower acid content than dark chocolate.
It's melted. ASMR.
Alright vlog, now we've got a pro tip from Zoe on how to make chocolate correctly. When you're stirring your chocolate, be sure not to add any water. This can cause your chocolate to seize because the hydrogen bonding just increased so rapidly that viscosity went up way to the point of solidification. Since water has such strong dipole moment and is comparatively small on a molecular level, it can work its way apart into those relatively delicate sugared cocoa solid micelles and break them apart. Further, it can start dissolving the sugar molecules, which increases the polar bonding. Basically, the polar water starts shredding our previously miraculously stable chocolate emulsion from the inside out. All of the polar parts, which include the water, the cocoa solids, which is our cocoa powder, and our maple syrup, stick together into one big viscous mess with a massive hydrogen bonding, and then you have seized chocolate.
Yuck.
Now we're going to mix all of our ingredients together until they are well combined and homogeneous.
There's no ASMR. You just need time ASMR.
Happy summer, guys.
Stay cool. Chocolate does have significant amounts of a compound called phenethylamine that causes brain cells to release dopamine, a neurotransmitter with a feel-good effect. Claims about chocolate's beneficial properties aren't limited to effects on our brain. It's also common to hear some chocolate lovers say it's filled with antioxidants, which help prevent damage to cells. Raw cacao beans do have significant amounts of antioxidants, such as
Epicatechin and gallic acid. Unfortunately, the process that cacao beans go through to become chocolate strips doesn't remove much of these compounds.
So now we're gonna go ahead and put these in the freezer to set up, and we're gonna utilize a process called tempering. So tempering involves the process of slowly heating and then cooling chocolate, resulting in a smooth, shiny finish when the chocolate sets. When tempered properly, it should produce a snap when broken, while untempered chocolate will be dull and not break cleanly.
Don't forget to clean up your lab station.
Now that the chocolate's cooled, we can truly observe what the process of tempering has done. So tempering chocolate is also known as crystallization, and it's the alignment of stable cocoa butter crystals, also known as beta V, in the melted chocolate, which allow these crystals to form, grow, and set. Cocoa butter is a complex fat that is polymorphic, which means that the cocoa butter within the chocolate can take on many forms. It can rearrange itself in different ways called phases that affect the look, shine, texture, snap, setting time, and mouthfeel of the chocolate.
Wow, look at that clean snap.
The phases also represent unique melting points of the chocolate. Depending on how the chocolate is manipulated, temperature being a major factor, the cocoa butter crystals can rearrange themselves in different phases.
Guys, we kind of ate down with this.
I agree.
Woohoo! It's so funny.
Theobromine is an alkaloid, a family of compounds that many plants produce, including the cacao plant.
Chocolate is the richest natural resource of
Bromine.
but coffee and tea contain some of it too.
Theobromine chemically resembles caffeine and has a similar stimulating effect on our brains. The combination of theobromine and caffeine found in chocolate is believed to create the small lift feel that we feel after eating it.
We hope you enjoyed watching. Bye, guys!